so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to bring this down here so I can get closer to you. Not that. You can be. So, London. We're here. The Olympics, and then us.
Hey!
So we'll use the Olympic venues. Thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate it. The love that you're all of you are showing us is apparent, and we're very, very grateful, and certainly I am. What I'd love to do is to take your questions and riff the jazz sense on your question, ultimately forget what your question is and have my own answer. But we'll see what happens. Ask a question.
Over here to your right over there.
Hi Bill, welcome to London. You're doing your Shatner's World Tour in the US. Any chance it might come to the UK? And is there a small piece perhaps you'd like to do from the show?
That's interesting. Last year, Australian producer called and said, would I do a one-man show in Australia? And I'd never done a one-man show, and well, I have, but not the way he wanted it. And I thought that could be interesting, and if I failed miserably, Australia's so far away nobody would know. I thought it was a good opportunity. So I went to Australia, and the way they wanted it was an Australian personality sort of interviewing me. And so the two of us sat on stage, and I told stories, and you know, and we did it for an hour and a half, and people were very happy about it. So I did 5, 6 cities in Australia, and I thought, well, I've done a one-man show, that's it. And then Canada asked me to tour Canada. So I toured all of Canada with a Canadian personality sitting on the stage, and that was over. Well, I've done Canada. And then Broadway asked me to come and do the show on Broadway. And I rewrote the whole thing and cut out the other guy. Well, it says a one-man show. What are 2 men doing on the stage? I don't know. So I did it, fashioned it for myself only, and I put together a kind of arc of some kind of knowledge that I've gained over the years, and I now am going to open on Broadway. And the night before opening on Broadway, my wife, a friend of ours, and myself sat down to eat something late in the evening after the rehearsal. And I thought, well, this is a good hotel we're at. I'm pretty safe eating the food, but I don't want to eat. They were ordering fish, and I thought fish is a little risky, and I don't want to take any chances about getting ill or anything like that. So I ordered hamburger, and I ate the hamburger, and that night I got sick. I'm about to open on Broadway in a one-man show. I mean, there's no higher ambition to aspire to than to do a one-man show in New York, except maybe in London. And I've got what turned out to be the stomach flu. I don't know whether any of you have had the stomach flu, but you can't leave the bathroom for very long. And if you leave for very long, you can't go very far. And if you go very far and very long, you're lost. You gotta bring a change of underwear. I don't mean to be graphic, but you get my feeling and meaning? And now I've got to go on Broadway in front of all those critics and the potential of destruction. And I get through. I get through the opening night, successful, people stand, ovation, they, all good, notice is great. The second night, filled with the arrogance of having succeeded being away from the bathroom, The first night, I'm out on stage. And suddenly I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a technical problem. I'll be right back. Don't leave your seats. And I have to run upstairs and shower. On Broadway. In a one-man show. Now, I haven't told that story to anybody. There's a secret between you and me. And if I hear it, see it on Twitter, I'm coming after you. Isn't that remarkable? So then I went on tour for 20, by that time I recovered. And I went on tour for 20 cities in the United States. And great success. So much so that they've asked me to come back. So, in November, I'm going to go to 5 cities, and then in January, I'll do another 15 cities, during which time I will film it and have it out so that it's available where I won't be on tour. West End asked me to come, but I don't know whether I have the time to come to London and uproot my family and all that kind of thing. So I'm not sure. But I will be taping it, or filming it, December 8th, and then we'll see what happens. But that's the one-man show, and it grew from anecdotes to finally its state now, which I think is pretty good. And I talk about all kinds of things. I talk about music, and about love, and about motorcycles, and about comedy, and about death, and about... I mean, I try to cover a range of subjects and infuse it with not only humor, but with some kind of meaning. Perhaps the things that I may have observed or learned on for me, which may apply in some instances to you. So that's the one-man show. Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm not sure I can quite compete with the tale of how you Shatner yourself. I was musing.
Wait a minute. People are laughing, so you must have said something intelligent.
Not necessarily.
But I didn't quite hear what it was you said because my accent is awful. Where were you born?
I was actually born in the northwest of England.
So that's a northwest, that's a north accent?
Yes, it is, yeah.
So is anybody else having trouble understanding it?
Most probably. It'd be worse if I was
Even the people in northern England have a trouble. Tell me again what you just said that made everybody...
I was just saying that I might find it difficult to compete with the tale of how you Shatner yourself.
I see. No, I suspect you could compete with it.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking earlier, I was just musing, if there are indeed an infinite number of parallel universes, have you considered that at this moment in one of them, you may be speaking at destination TJ Hooker?
The disadvantage you have had is everybody laughed and applauded, and all I understood was T.J. Hooker. So what was it about T.J. Hooker you want to know?
In an alternative, in a parallel universe.
Oh, in a parallel universe. Where would... Oh, I see, yeah. Well, in a parallel universe, I guess T.J. would be J.T. Maybe not. In a parallel universe, where would T.J. Hooker be? He'd be clinging to a windshield while a car was swerving around. Alternative universes. Let me go there.
Did he cry?
The idea of science fiction and why it's so intriguing, I guess to all of us because we're all here, the idea of science fiction is not only for me, who is probably older than anybody else around here, and anticipating the end of life and not being able to see like what's going to happen next. So that imagining what's going to happen next is what science fiction for me is all about. To anticipate the future so that you can see a part of it. But in addition to seeing the future in somebody's imagination, which is sometimes based on a laboratory reality, which may very well become a reality in the years to come. The other fascination for me is what is beyond our world, what's out there. And we know that we don't know. We know that everything we know now is suspect, even the speed of light. I mean, imagine what happens to scientists one day when they come to the conclusion that the speed of light is not the final speed of the universe, that there are other things, that the very foundation of scientific research is the speed of light as a constant. What happens if it's not a constant? And I believe, since all knowledge that we've had from the beginning of time is turned on us, and generation after generation, everything we think we know, a while later, it turns out to be 180 degrees wrong. What happens if the speed of light isn't the constant? And all our calculations about everything, about the end, and where the universe is going, how it's expanding, how old the universe is, what its possible beginnings are. I mean, what happens if that's all put into a cockpit and we know nothing? Because, in fact, we know nothing. Everything we know, we don't know. A scientist said to me about scientists, we're just spreading rumors. What do you mean you're spreading rumors? Alternate universes, why not? We're just discovering black holes and how it's the foundation of all our galaxies. And there are millions. There are giant black holes and small ones. And we can't see into them. We don't know what they are. We suspect we know what they are. Well, what happens if all our knowledge isn't valid? We know nothing. So why wouldn't there be alternate universes? Why wouldn't our existence be repeated elsewhere or not? We know nothing. One guy said, one scientist said, nothing is everything. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. Nothing is everything. The universe is nothing and that's everything? Or is there space, such wide space, between bodies in the universe that it seems like nothing? We know nothing. Alternate universes are a very definite possibility because we can imagine them. But there's so much out there that we can't imagine. We don't even know what we can't imagine. It's so complex. It's such turmoil. But it's beautiful in its way. Because every time we grab a fact, every time a scientist says, this is what we think, that fact, true or not, is so beautiful in its proportion, so beautiful in its constant, that we have to sit back and be filled with awe and wonder at the purported scientific fact. Gravity, time, space, black matter, black energy, all the mysteries of it. And that's what science fiction is all about. And that's why we're here.